Hi guys. So Nancy, who is behind the camera, and Colin, who is in front of the camera, have taken to this little habit of once a month doing a blog that goes out in standard blog fashion on the Campbell Academy blog, and then backing it up with a YouTube video with a little bit of depth on the blog as well. And this month, I'd like to talk about comfort and our pursuit of comfort, and that was kind of stimulated because I was recommended to read something by one of our academy delegates about our pursuit of comfort and our avoidance of discomfort. And it's quite compelling when you start to think about it. So I just tell you a little story about that, just to try and my life exists in stories and narratives. But so this morning, this is a Tuesday, a Monday. It's a Monday, isn't it? It's a Monday afternoon. Time's about 4:45. This morning at about 12 hours ago, I was in Barcelona, and we were in an airport hotel, the young Louis, the triathlon superstar, and I, and we were going to the airport in the morning early on, and we checked with reception and everything was cool, and we were getting a taxi. And when we got to reception this morning at 5:10, there was no taxis, and we're 45 minutes walk from the airport, because that's where the airport hotels are, and we have a bike box each, which is quite a big bit of luggage on wheels, and a bag each that pulls behind us in a rucksack. And so we had to walk or miss a plane. And so that feels rubbish, doesn't it? I spent last night when I checked in trying to make my life comfortable, trying to make sure I had mitigated all the risks associated with it. I asked them how I would get there, asked them how they would source me a taxi, asked them what time I had to be at reception, got all my ducks in a row, only to go down and find out that we didn't. And so in the dark at round about 5:15 this morning, for 4:15 UK time, we started trekking to the airport. And you got two ways to look at that, don't you? Because we had to walk down the side of busy roads, and then we had to go into this little country road, like with no lights, and there was cars going past us, and it was just weird. And as I started to walk there, I thought, this is rubbish, and I'm angry, and the hotel's let us down, and this is terrible. And then I was able to go, do you know what? It is what it is. And it wasn't comfortable, because by the time I got to the terminal, I was soaking wet. Right? It was like a marathon workout. But we had Google Maps on, and so I'd said to Louis, do you know what? Let's just beat the map, right? And so we turned it into a quest, a little adventure, and we went as hard as we could, as hard as my dodgy knee would let us go, and for our 45-minute walk to the terminal. And we got to the terminal, went to the wrong bit of the terminal, and then finally got ourselves into the queue for Ryanair, and it had only taken us 30 minutes instead of 45 minutes. I mean, we were drenched, me particularly. But my point is that when a lot of the crap happens, it's because we're not comfortable. And when that happens, you can write a narrative that says it's unfair, or that it's depressing, or that it shouldn't happen to you. Or you can flip it around and go, that's not actually right. When I was a caveman, my life was entirely uncomfortable almost all the time. And we're hardwired for discomfort. But we have been presented this system now in the way that we live to control our temperature at home to 21 degrees, to always have hot water from the tap, to always have food in the fridge or delivered by a driver off an app, to have any amount of garbage to watch on television all the time. And the more comfortable we get, I actually believe the less able we are to deal with discomfort. And so I think that's why in many aspects of life, there are groups of people who seek discomfort out. And so the reason I was at Barcelona airport is because I had been in Bilbao the day before, which is the other side of Spain, and we'd driven across because Louis was competing in the European Triathlon Championships, in the age group championships, which he won for his age group. That was not comfortable for Louis. I can assure you, I watched it, and I have competed in similar and done similar things this year. And I remember coming back from when we were cycling in France, and my wife said, I don't understand why you do that. And I said, well, you don't have to understand. But I honestly feel that I suppose within reason, but the more that we seek discomfort, the more we are trained and adapted to be able to deal with discomfort when it comes unexpectedly. And the less we do that, the more we head on a slow, comfortable road to death. And so I would say to you, go outside, with not enough clothes on, you know, with your sleeves out or your shorts on, and walk in the cold, get wet, walk in the rain, go to places where you don't know what the outcome will be like, and just see what happens. It's magical if you can embrace it. And so I think if we had got the airport taxi shuttle bus from the hotel this morning, I probably think we probably would never have remembered it. But I think the fact that we walked in an uncomfortable way and tried to beat the map, we'll be able to go to remember that day we walked from the airport hotel. I don't think we'll ever forget it. And I think that's perhaps the advantage of discomfort.